1981, became anchor of the CBS Evening News. He's now anchored more nightly news broadcasts than anyone else in U.S. history. It's not bad for the son of a ditch digger from Morton, Texas. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you my friend and the reason I have this job, Dan Rather.
I wanted to call the film Truth because it's the thing that everybody is sort of looking for in the film. It's, you know, and it's the thing journalistically you're kind of always searching for, and it's, you know, it's elusive and it's tricky to get to sometimes, and, you know, there's a cost to it, you know, a lot of times, you know, as we see with, you know, Dan and Mary. In terms of sort of, you know, backlash or whatever it is, you know, there's no way to tell the story that's going to make every single person happy. You know what I mean? Like, it's sort of so. I think that's a fact of life, but that's also not a reason not to make a movie, in my opinion.
And I think, you know, Dan Rather, who was at our screening last night, said it much better than I can. And he, you know, he was talking about journalism, and he was saying that he hopes this film, you know, continues to help people and inspire people to investigate in the right way and to be honorable about their stories and about journalism, and to really seek the truth and ask the right questions. And, you know, it was a very inspiring sort of moment coming from him, especially. So, yeah, I think it absolutely should. I hope it inspires people to, you know, keep journalism the way that it should be and the way that it's sort of been lost now.
I read an excerpt of Mary's book in Vanity Fair in 2005, and I went and I called her up and I said, you know, this is very interesting to me, and I'd made a movie called Zodiac that hadn't come out yet, but I said, I've done this before with real people, so I'd love to just talk to you about it and come to your house and stuff like that. And she was very reticent about the idea of making a film about it, because it is sort of the good news, bad news of, I've got great news. We want to make a film about your life. The bad news is we want to make a film about the worst thing that's ever happened to you. So she was very reticent about it, but, you know, my wife and I went down and spent time with her, and eventually she sort of agreed. And one of the things that was really important to me was to speak to a lot of different people who were involved in it, not just to adapt her book, but to talk to the real people. And obviously Dan Rather is one of the biggest. So, you know, we called him up and told him, and Mary spoke with him, and Mary said, you know, these are, you know, I like these people, these are good people. So we had dinner, and we just started talking, and it was always just sort of a conversation and picking his brain, and what about this and what about that, and so using him as a resource. But they always sort of knew, Dan and Mary, at the end of the day, that, you know, we had to go away and make the film that we wanted to make, so that there, you know, so there was never a sort of, you'll have editorial control over it, or so, you know, really was putting a lot of faith in us and trust in us that, you know, we weren't gonna, you know, do them wrong. And so it was amazing when he finally got to see the film.
I mean, I hate saying I loved it in a way, because I feel like, of course, I'm supposed to say that, but I really did love it.
No, you can say that.
Okay, thanks. I'm very proud of it, and I was really emotional at the end, and I'm trying not to. I think if I was at home watching it, I would have been bawling, but I was trying not to cry because I knew I had to go up on stage and do a Q&A, and then, of course, Dan went up and cried, and I was like, oh, I should have let it go. I'm very proud of it. There's so much information in this story, and it's all important information. You know, there's nothing that isn't important, and I really feel like the job of adapting that story was very difficult, and it was evident in the script that Jamie had done it, and it's evident in the film that it's done. You really do understand what's happening, and the things that are important do come across, and I think the thing that's most important is the story of this woman who's incredibly strong and incredibly vulnerable and did the right thing and got in trouble for it. And it's a honestly really moving thing that she now gets to have her story told, and, you know, pun intended, the truth of her story, and it's moving.